the pasties. Thank you. Show you how to make the dough for these pasties, which is an Italian dessert. That's this recipe's been in my family for many years. Now, first of all, we're going to mix all the dry ingredients. So what we have first here is 4 cups of flour put into a large bowl, along with 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, okay, and just a little pinch of salt. So mix that in here. Butter, or I like to use Crisco. So here you're going to put a 1.5 cups of Crisco and add it, or I just cut it in here with this tool. Do this. Now in a separate bowl, you have 2 eggs that you mix up. All right. And here I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water, your mixture. Okay. Just slowly mix it in. Okay. And then also you put in a 1/4 cup of honey, your last ingredient. Now you'll get to a point where you can use your hands, then mold it in kind of a ball, which I'll do here in just a minute. And then before I put it in the refrigerator for a day, I usually just get a cereal bag, put it inside there, and then I just simply put it in the refrigerator for a day. For the second part on how to make these great Italian desserts, pasties, as you remember, we had our dough in the refrigerator overnight. So I took it out and let it stay out for 30 minutes. So I take it out and I basically cut it in half. Okay, half of it is going to be for the insides of the pasties, the tins. Now, before you put them in the tins, you want to make sure that they're there. Okay, I'm going to make these into little balls and put them in each one of the tins. Okay? Little balls, you don't need a whole lot, you don't want it too thick. Okay, so I put these in every one of these tins. It makes about 10 to 12. So now I have them all in the tins basically. All right, so then I'm going to push them down in there and cover the entire inside of each tin. Okay, and sometimes I don't put enough, so then I have to just grab a little bit more and just push them in and make sure they fill the tins. Okay, this takes a little while, but you get better at it as you do it. Now I have all the tins filled. The next thing I'm going to do is roll out the dough and then make my pudding, the inside, and then put the tops on these and then bake. Hello, as you remember, we put the dough in the pasties, and now I'm going to roll out the dough to make the tops. Of course, we're going to make some filling here after this. Now, you have to use a lot of flour. When my mother used to show me how to do this, she always told me I need to always put a lot of flour down. Okay, so I'm going to roll this out. Okay. Okay, then as you do is you take a glass with the tops, which is about the same size as the top of the pasties, and you do this. So now I'm going to show you how to make the filling for the pasties. It's basically just a pudding recipe. I had put the dough in these tins, and also I have made the tops for the pasties. So we're going to mix our dry ingredients first. We have a cup of sugar. Put it in a saucepan along with 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. Okay, mix that a little bit along with your 1/4 cup of cocoa. You could also use chocolate baking squares. They also work. I've used those. You mix, then you could put your wet ingredients in there, okay? Have 3 egg yolks. The recipe calls for specifically egg yolks. If you want to put the whole egg, you can. The whites I use for the tops before you bake them. Put that in there, mix it all in with 2 cups of milk, okay? Good to mix this in gradually. Top it off. You put just a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay. Now I'm just gonna cook this on the stove and we'll go from there. Hello again. We're getting towards the end of the process to make these pasties. I have made the filling, which is basically pudding, chocolate pudding, and I'm going to put them in every one of these tins. I just put a spoonful in there, fill it up as much as you like. I filled them all up. Now I'm going to put the tops on there. I've made these tops when I rolled out the dough, so this can get a little tricky, but what I've learned is it's not going to be perfect, okay? So you take the tops that you made, you put them over, and then you just try to seal them in there. Okay, you could wet your hands a little bit, that helps out. Okay, so you just push in, as you can see, and just make a nice pasty for each one. Okay. There you go. Okay, finally for the last part, we're going to go ahead and glaze the top of the pasties with our egg whites that we saved from before. This kind of just gives it a nice coating. Okay, so I'm going to brush this on. So once I have put the egg white all over the pasties, I just go ahead and just prick the tops of them so they cook better. And then I bake them for 20 minutes at 350. Ciao tutti! Okay, we finally have the finished product. I'm going to take the pasties out of the oven. Like I said, I baked them for 20 minutes, but the last few minutes I did a little broil on the top. And I do a little broil on the top because I like they come out a little brown. So here you are, the pasties. Pasticiotti. Thank you.